Good afternoon, guys. We're going to talk about Keir Starmer's speech now. Now, before I go on, this is going to get, guys, I'm not going to lie, it's going to get weird. I've just read the speech, and some of the things I picked up are very esoteric. People could say that he's trying to cast a spell with the language he's using. Now, I don't want to go woo-woo, and I don't want to go into the occult, but it's very hard not to see biblical prophecies in the making right now. I'm sure somewhere in the Bible it says when hell is full, dead will walk the earth or something. Is that what we have with the prisons at the moment? People who should be in prison walking around? Is that too much of a reach to go with it? Anyway, guys, I'm not going to read you all of his speech, but I've got the transcript and I'll let you guys read the whole script if you want. Equally, if you want me to go through the whole script, I will, guys, but it'll take quite a while, so I'll give commentary on each part and I'll tell you where the wordings come from, because some of the wording, it's doublespeak at best. It really does have contempt for the listener, but he's put that out there now, and I can't believe the arrogance of the speech. And again, guys, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just looking too much into it. Maybe I'm seeing connections here that are not really there. But anyway, guys, let's get into it. I need to share this so you can read along. What's that? Dora the Explorer. Read along with me. Here we are. So we're not going to read all this, guys. So this is from the government website. There he is, our illustrious leader. Anyway, so like I said, guys, I'll put this in the description. You can read it if you want. Likewise, I've just said it. If you want me to read this all, I'll do another video and I can read it all. But, it is relatively long. When I stood on the steps of Downing Street just over there 2 months ago, I promised this government would serve people like you. Apprentices, teachers, nurses, small business owners, firefighters, those serving our community and our country every day. I promised that we would get a grip on the problems we face and that we would be judged by our actions, and you will be judged by your actions, Keir, not by our words. I said before the election, and I say this again clearly today, growth. And frankly, by that, I mean wealth creation. So when he's putting taxes up, okay, you don't get growth from taxes. Nobody has been taxed into prosperity. Somebody prove me wrong, guys. You cannot get taxed into prosperity. This guy is a buffoon. My opinion that he's a buffoon, guys. I don't want to be in the gulag. So wealth creation for Keir Starmer means taxing people and then taking money off them. Guys, no one in the whole of recorded history, no civilization has ever been taxed into prosperity. So that's where, this is doublespeak at best, and they're gaslighting you. Political content redacted is the number one priority for this government. That's why in our first week we set up the National Wealth Fund. So what even is this, guys? I'm not going to look into it because I can imagine what it is. I can imagine this is paid roles where him and some of his mates get 100 grand a year for sitting on a committee to decide where to spend money. It's not going to create any wealth. The way you create wealth is you cut taxes. That's the end of it. There's no other situation there. Because we want every person and every community to benefit. Cut taxes. It is why we've unlocked planning decisions, because we are going to build 1.5 million new homes. Guys, this is they're gaslighting you again. Who's going to build those homes? We don't have enough builders. We don't have enough bricklayers. We don't have enough electricians, enough plumbers. Guys, this is gaslighting. Our building industry, our construction industry does not have enough people to build 1.5 million homes. It'd take 50 years, even if we had the money. So I don't know where this is coming from, guys. All right. It's an absolute fabrication. It's why we've set up Great British Energy to create jobs and cut people's bills. You know, guys, the solution here is nuclear. We've had it over 50 years. We need to build nuclear power plants. Again, that's the end of it. And that is why we ended the national strikes that have crippled our country for years. I think he's talking about the rail strikes there, because I defy anyone to tell me that you can grow the economy when people can't get to work. Yeah, I'll go with that one. Yeah, you need to get to work to work. Now, contradicting himself again, a couple of days ago, he was saying, you know, you're more productive when you work from home. You know, and that people should be encouraged to work from home. So, you know, he's contradicting himself again. And this is what happens when you have people with no opinion of their own. Because the transport system is broken. Yes, the national rail system, it's broken. It should be nationalized. You know, we shouldn't have, because what happens, you know, from my video yesterday, when people, capitalism isn't capitalism without choice for the consumer. What you have here is a perfect example of socialism. People take your money, spend it how they want, and don't reinvest. That's socialism. Or can't return to work because they're stuck on an NHS waiting list. Guys, my unpopular opinion is that the NHS does need to be privatized. Now, that doesn't mean that people would be paying any more for it. All it means is people could make profit from the NHS. And I know you get this, you get people saying, oh, you can't have people making profit over people's illness. Well, do you know what, guys? That's happening already. The NHS doesn't work. If you've tried to get a doctor's appointment, if you need something from a doctor, you're on the 8 o'clock roulette, you have to deal with cackling hens at your doctor's surgery. It's not working. If you had a system where people said, right, I don't know, here's 100 grand a year or whatever, whatever you make, whatever you keep out of that, it's your own, or a system. Then people would cut a load of staff. They'd get rid of people who weren't efficient. They'd make the product better, so that people actually use the NHS, because at the moment we're just paying and paying and paying and paying into it, and it's just broken. Guys, if you want me to do a video on how to fix the NHS, I will. But, pumping more money into it's not the solution. These are just the first steps towards change that people voted for. The change I'm determined to deliver. But before the election, I also gave a warning. I said things would not happen overnight. That when there is... Okay, so... again, contradicting himself. He managed to get people in jail overnight that did Facebook posts. He managed to get a lot done overnight with his vast knowledge of the legal system. So I'm pretty confident that if he wanted to get things done overnight, he could. When there is deep rot in the heart of a structure, you can't just cover it up. He's right, 100%. I've been saying this. Think of the pan. Think of the boiling pan. You can't just put a lid on it. You can't just tinker with it or rely on quick fixes. He's right. You have to overhaul the entire thing. Yep, I get that. Tackle it at the root. Yep, he must be talking about people, how people feel at the moment in the country. If it's even harder work and takes more time, because otherwise what happens? The rot returns. Yeah, he's right, 100%. So he knows what he's talking about in all the same places, and it spreads worse than before. So what he's talking about, so he must know what he's talking about. If the pan's boiling and you just clamp a lid on it, he's telling you here, it will come back worse than before. You know that, I know that. That's why this project has always been about fixing the foundations of this country. The foundations. I wonder what he considers the foundations of this country are. But I have to be honest with you, things are worse than we ever imagined. I always question somebody when they say that, but I have to be honest with you. And when you say but in a sentence, it means you don't believe the thing you've just said. It does. Think about that next time somebody's talking to you and they say but in a sentence. In the first weeks, we discovered a 22 billion black hole in public sector finances. And before anyone says, oh, this is just performative or playing politics, let's remember, the OBR did not know about this. They didn't know. They wrote a letter saying they didn't know. Okay, who wrote the letter? And I can write a letter. Even just last Wednesday, we found out that we borrowed almost 5 billion more than the OBR expected in the last 3 months alone. That's not performative. That's fact. I couldn't comment about that. What I will say, though, is 22 billion. How many billions a year are we spending on migrant hotels? How many billions a year are we giving away in foreign aid? We could probably deal with that in a year if we stop giving away our money. My money, your money, taxpayers' money. But as well as things we've discovered, we've also seen shocking scenes across the nation. A mindless minority of thugs who thought they could get away with causing chaos. I think he's referring here to the, people like the Manchester, what happened, those thugs in Manchester Airport who attacked 3 police officers that have not been charged yet. I think that's clearly what he's talking about. Smashing up communities and terrifying minorities. So by terrifying minorities, I think he must mean here the women and children who are scared to go near migrant hotels, women and children who are scared to go into town centres at night time. I think that's what he's talking about. Vandalising and destroying people's property. Yeah, we should never do that. He's right. Even trying to set fire to a building with human beings inside it. Again, I agree. Absolutely insane. And if that wasn't despicable enough, people displaying swastika tattoos. So again, yeah, it is disgusting, but the swastika means peace and unity. Obviously, it's been hijacked by, other people now, but that's what it originally meant. I'm sure in the context he's talking about there, he means it in, not the Buddhist peace and unity one. Shouting racist slurs on our streets. Yeah, he's right. Not only shouting racist slurs, but I saw people have started to spray paint on walls, white's not welcome. So yeah, he's right. We shouldn't be having racist slurs on our streets. Nazi salutes at the cenotaph. I don't know about that. The cenotaph, the very place we honour those who gave their lives for this country. Yeah. Desecrating their memory. I'm not going to get into that, guys, because this is pretty inflammatory. Under the pretense, and it is a pretense, of a legitimate protest. Now, why did these protests start? Can you remember? Cast your mind back. I struggle to speak about it. There's 3 reasons why these protests started. Age 6, 7, and 9, I think. They're the reason the protest started. Now, to say that that's not a legitimate cause for protest is, it's a gross humiliation. Now they're learning that crime has consequences, that I won't tolerate a breakdown in law and order under any circumstances. Now, what we've seen in the Notting Hill Carnival is a breakdown of law and order. Now, those circumstances, it seems, I'm just curious, will these people, will their arrest, will their prosecution, will their trial be televised like it seems to be the normal now? And I will not listen to those. That's kind of Keir Starmer's problem there, isn't it? I will not listen. I will not listen to those who I feel I'm superior to. No, that's not what he says. And I will not listen to those who exploit grieving families and disrespect local communities. Guys, this is, the reason I've not done a video on that incident, because I didn't want to disrespect and exploit a grieving family. We've got 2 little girls, 10 and 11, and they dance to Taylor Swift, and they enjoy her songs, and it was just absolutely horrific, thinking that, anyway, so yeah, here we are, guys, here we get to the spell. But those riots didn't happen in a vacuum. They exposed the state of our country, revealed a deeply unhealthy society. The cracks in our foundations laid bare, weakened by decades of division and decline, infected by a spiral of populism which fed off cycles of failure. So here, guys, this is what caught me. It really did. It caught me off guard, this. Because I thought, right, okay, infected by a spiral of populism. So I did, I'll get you the definition. So this is from the Oxford Dictionary. So this is what populism means. A political approach that strives to appeal to ordinary people who feel their concerns are disregarded by the established elite groups. So what he's saying is, if you feel that your concerns are being disregarded by the elite groups, then, you know, you're infected. So everybody who thinks that the government are not listening to them, you're infected. And that's what he's saying here. You know, and the language in this, it's just, you know, it kind of puts it out there to me of one of those, you know, there's a movie out there. I only watched it a couple of I think it was this month. They put these glasses on. They put these glasses on and they see like this. I think it's aliens. I don't know what it is, like aliens or something. And then they can see magazines done, and it says like obey, consume, eat, do as you're told. What's it? They live. Yeah, it's like an 80s movie, and I'm shocked I've not seen it before. And when I read things like this, because it's all right listening to him and then people cherry pick the parts that they want. When you read the script, it puts things in a totally different context. You know, it feels like to me, we're being gaslit. You know, that's what it feels like to me. This is my opinion, my thoughts, my speculation. So you can't get me done for fake news. I feel this speech was very gaslighting. You know, they were telling us one thing and we know the opposite. And then they're saying, maybe I've got the wrong context of populism, but I don't think I have. And to use it in that context, surely he knows, surely when this speech was produced, it wasn't just Johnny who was, you know, sat under the stairs and he was, you know, I don't know, the cook. The cook, he had 5 minutes spare. He's like, Johnny, write us a speech, mate. I need to go and speak to this lot in Rose Garden. You know, so to use those words in that type of language, it's absolutely unbelievable. Now, I'll put the transcript to the whole speech there. I will put the transcript to the whole speech in the link in this description. Guys, take some time, read through that script, and remember, when this script gets drafted, it will be drafted and redrafted and re-edited and rewritten. So I don't think that any words will have got in there that shouldn't have been in there. So that's kind of makes the script even more terrifying. It's not like he was just answering Q&A and he messed up. It wasn't like he was in the dispatch box and somebody's grilling him and he's got to think off his feet. You know, this is a scripted message and it's absolutely terrifying. Guys, I stick by my last video, what I said. If you've got the means at the moment, get yourself out of the United Kingdom because things are going to get worse. Guys, that is it. I'm going to max a grid and I'll speak to you guys later.